What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Bobby's Big Board. Coming into the 2025 NFL Draft, TreVeyon Henderson was my RB2 in the entire class, only behind Ashton Jeanty. So trust me, I was already extremely high on this guy. But even I didn't expect him to make this type of impact this quickly with Rhamondre Stevenson being there. Henderson did not need 25 touches a game to completely take over. Every time the Patriots got the ball in his hands, there was legitimate chances that he would take a normal play into the end zone for 6 points. So today we're going to look at what he actually did as a rookie, dig into some of the numbers behind the big plays, and break down the film to show you why New England may have hit the jackpot and an absolute home run with TreVeyon Henderson. So let's get right into it. Now, even while splitting this backfield with Rhamondre Stevenson, Henderson still finished with 180 carries for 911 yards. That's over 5 yards per carry, and added another 221 yards through the air. That is 1,132 yards from scrimmage and 10 touchdowns without ever needing to be a true bell cow running back. But here's where it gets ridiculous. 4 of his rushing touchdowns came from more than 50 yards out. That led the entire NFL and tied the rookie record set by Saquon Barkley and Lenny Moore. Hendo was already one of the most dangerous big play backs in football as a rookie, and once we get into the film, you'll see exactly why those home runs kept happening. And why not start with his longest touchdown run on the year? It's 69 yards against the Buccaneers on this stretch concept. He's going to be trying to get out to the edge here with this lead fullback blocker, all your linemen all blocking in one direction here, just like a stretch concept calls for. And that's what the Patriots like to do a lot with TreVeyon Henderson, is get him outside, let him use that elite, and I'm saying elite very purposefully here, elite acceleration, and he's got home run speed all day. I think this guy can be a Jahmyr Gibbs type player. That's how much I believe in this guy. And I want you to see this here, because this isn't the most clean get to the outside type of play. He's going to have to fight off a nose tackle here, fight off that. He also runs into the back of one of his linemen here. This guy right here runs into the back of him, ends up having to get off this tackle as well. But this is the special thing. Obviously, the contact balance is great for this not to get stopped right there, but look at that. Once he gets going, I've seen multiple plays. This isn't the best example of this, but there are plays where he gets out in the open space and there's not a single player on the football field that's outrunning him. That is the most special thing about him. If he gets in open space, he is gone. I don't know if you guys watched my Saquon Barkley breakdown, but this is definitely a Saquon Barkley-esque run because of the creativity that he has, and he had that at Ohio State too, which was one of the main reasons why I was high on him, was that creativity. He's not just going to take what the defense gives him. He's going to try to look for that big play, and it's another stretch concept, very similar concept as the first play, but it's not going to be exactly the same result. It ends up being a 65-yard touchdown, but he has to do it a little bit differently. So obviously you see Bills do a great job here, just kind of setting the edge, congesting it up to where TreVeyon Henderson doesn't really have a great place to go. But watch what this guy does. Cuts out. And that's insane. Uses that footwork, cuts out. Shout out to Drake May trying to lead block here. What a stud. But again, look, once he gets in a foot race, he's gone. That's why I compare him to a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. Because if you get this dude in space, he's going to score. He's that dangerous. And when you see this efficiency with less than 200 touches, I have a hard time seeing a world where the Patriots are not going to give this guy 250 touches. The more touches this guy has, the more chances he's going to have to win you the football game. So on this next play, I really want to talk about the vision here. This seems to look like a very similar play call to the other two plays we've covered, but TreVeyon Henderson ends up using that vision to get creative and cut it up. Now, one thing I want you to focus on outside of TreVeyon Henderson here is number 71. I mean, what a stud block he has. He's going to annihilate Quincy Williams here. He's not going to have a fun time. He gets taken completely out of the play. So let's focus on that for this first run through. I mean, it's hilarious. This is a great block from 71. Quincy Williams, great linebacker, by the way. Just boom, just get on the ground. TreVeyon Henderson cuts it up for a 7-yard touchdown. But I want to just kind of show you. He cuts out, and I can already tell you he wants to cut this out so bad. He had kind of a problem at Ohio State, just cutting everything to the outside, kind of like a RJ Harvey. And it's a really good growth moment where he decides this could be an opening, but I'm going to take this one because this one's going to be a more surefire touchdown. And it's a very creative gap that a lot of running backs aren't going to see. And he's able to see it, get skinny through the hole like he always does. And that's just a perfect display of vision. Yes, it's on the 2025 New York Jets, who probably is the worst defense of all time, in my opinion. But we got to see the vision here. Like, that is a phenomenal play from TreVeyon Henderson. And it just goes to show you his vision got better and better each week. Here's another play versus the Jets. And this is a very interesting play call. It's a misdirection play. So you have your lead blocker and your 3 offensive linemen here blocking in one direction. And then you've got these 3 guys kind of blocking like it's going to be a screen play. You have the counter basically coming from TreVeyon Henderson, ends up being a toss from Drake May. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of smoke and mirrors from the Patriots here. And you're going to see 72 have a great opportunity to stop TreVeyon Henderson. And you'll see what happens. Because you're going to see him on the counter here. Great sell, honestly, from TreVeyon Henderson. And then too quick, too nimble. 72 just gets put on skates, looks dumb. Fights away from that guy, spins, and then this is the thing I want to highlight here. Look what he did once he got wrapped up. He kept churning. He wanted to find that end zone. That's why he had 10 touchdowns last year. He kept churning his legs for a touchdown. He has power. He can be a goal line back, even though he's a home run hitter. That's why I think Rhamondre Stevenson's role becomes way more limited this year, because TreVeyon Henderson gives you more value on every single play, and he can also punch in these goal line reps. So TreVeyon Henderson, guys, if you're a fantasy owner, TreVeyon Henderson, I think, is going to be one of the biggest breakouts of 2026. After going back through the film, I honestly feel better about TreVeyon Henderson than I did coming into the league. I've already had him as my RB2 in the 2025 class behind Jeanty, and now that we've seen what he can do at the NFL level, I think the Patriots need to give this dude a much bigger role in 2026. The more touches he got, the more valuable he became. We already knew about the speed and the big playability, but what stood out to me was the consistency, the vision, and the power he showed around the goal line as well. People look at his size and think he's only an explosive playmaker, but I think he can absolutely finish runs and punch the ball in when New England gets close. I also really like the way the Patriots utilized him. They gave him opportunities to be creative, got him out in space, and designed plays to allow him to use that acceleration and make defenders wrong. The play calling was there, they just need to call his number more often. At this point, I genuinely believe TreVeyon Henderson is already one of the most talented running backs in the NFL. Now it's about the workload catching up to the talent. If New England gives him more carries, keeps him involved in the passing game, and lets him build on what he showed as a rookie, I think he has a real chance to be one of the biggest breakout running backs in the NFL in 2026. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. How big of a role do you expect Henderson to have this season, and where do you rank him among the best young backs in the NFL? Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more NFL breakdowns. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.